Hello, welcome to Curry Girl Tech Talk. I am Krystal Curry. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 4 of our 6-part series about artificial intelligence. As a quick recap, the last couple episodes were power-packed with solutions and actionable strategies and tools that you can leverage now. If you haven't had a chance, check our website at currygirltechtalk.com. There are links there with loads of information for your perusal. But today, I am super excited. It is our episode. We are talking to a real gamer. We discussed the foundations of machine learning, and it turns out that Arthur Samuel, who coined the term machine learning, was also a pioneer in gaming technology. So one of the key breakthroughs in machine learning and gaming is Big Blue. Big Blue is a computer system that defeated the first human chess player. His name was Garry Kasparov, and he was then the world chess champion. And Deep Blue's defeat of Garry is considered a milestone in the history of artificial intelligence. Computer scientists such as Deep Blue's developer Campbell believe that playing chess was a good measurement for the effectiveness of artificial intelligence. And by defeating a world champion chess player, IBM showed that they had made significant progress. Deep Blue is also responsible for the popularity of using games as a display for artificial intelligence. All right, let's jump right into our conversation. I am talking tech today with Danny. All right, everybody, I am here at Dallas Startup Week. I finally cornered the gamer. I am so excited. Today is Gamer Day. We're talking to Danny Martin of eSposure, and he is going to talk to us about gaming technology with AI. We're talking Metaverse, esports, and all of the wonderful topics that you guys want to hear about. I'm super excited to have him.
Absolutely. First off, just super appreciative of the opportunity to be here and speak with you. Anytime one gets the opportunity to share what they're passionate about, you never know who it can impact. And if it's just impact one person, then that's enough, you know. But hopefully you just keep giving insight to individuals, and it helps you perfect your message better. And I think giving a platform for people to do that is important. So anybody who creates a platform that allows individuals to share their passion should be celebrated. So you're helping me sharpen my iron, which is important.
I think you must be the smartest man in the room. One statistic that I read is that we spend $100 billion on digital goods that we don't own. That's a lot of money that goes into gaming technology. Can you give us a little insight into how you began your journey in gaming?
My start in gaming and esports was approximately in 2009 in college. I was a junior in college. Awesome. Where I ran track, but I also knew I needed to make capital to pay for things I needed to live in school. As a business major, specifically entrepreneurship, I was actively like, what is going to be my light bulb moment? You know, we were taught like that light bulb moment is the idea that you have that you start your company on. I received that feeling, that light bulb moment, when one of my teammates was like, their console is inoperable. And I was just like, man, if I can fix this dude console, I can make some money, and I can be able to do it with other people. So I just went and started to figure that out and fix individuals' Xboxes and PlayStations around campus, and eventually a lot of other places as well. But I quickly recognized that, you know, when I'm able to see someone's console, I'm able to see what games they play, what their interests were. And so I collected that data and transferred it into running tournaments for them. For people. So basically, like on campus, like you see a lot of Greeks have parties and they're party promoters and things like that. Well, I was like the promoter for tournaments on campus, and that was another way for me to make capital. I was like, okay, well, I'm host some pretty cool tournaments. Rent a space, get some marketing out there, but quickly recognize you can't do it by yourself as you're going, and so. You know, you couldn't just go to Monster and Indeed and just be like, oh, find somebody to help me run tournaments that's 2-3 years in. Couldn't do that. So it forced me to train my peers to help me. Hey, I need you to do brackets. I need you to create flyers, put them around the schools, create some content, whatever it may be, marketing, advertising, whatever it may be. And then that's when my light bulb moment is like, I really love teaching people, you know. If a gamer wants to showcase their skill sets on the largest platform, then there's a team of someone setting everything up for them to do that. Just like any LeBron James, any basketball player in the NBA, there's a lot of people that come together to make sure that we get a chance to watch them on TV.
That's right.
Right. I looked at the esports market as that same. I figured out, like, man, there's a lot of careers that it takes to be able to make this happen.
Can you give us an idea of what esports means? Because a lot of people really don't know that it involves a huge effort, like you were explaining.
The gaming industry right now is about a $200 billion industry. It's comprised of gamers, developers, people who create the games, game developers, and the esports market is about a percentage, 1% of that. It's the competitive side of it. So game developers right now have learned that they can install functionality that makes the game highly competitive to the point of where you have to put hours and hours and hours of time in order to be really good at this game. And to identify who's the best is important for the game developers, because if that person is the best and they're driving in hundreds of thousands of people watching them over years or months or sometimes days, that equates to units sold for the game development company. And so at that point, the esports market grows because they're now focused in on you leveraging it as a marketing strategy. And as individuals in the esports market are competing, then that only increases the industry from 1% to 2% to 3%. So for us in the esports market, our job is to grow it where individuals, partners, companies want to sponsor and partner with these particular esports teams or professional gamers to drive more revenue into the industry that we all are passionate about. So esports is the competitive side of the gaming industry.
I had thought the typical demographic of gamers is guy that's hanging out at his parents' house with a t-shirt in the basement, just playing, a few games. But what I've learned is that that's actually not the case. The demographic for gaming is much different than that. I've got a statistic that 46% of gamers are women, and that 43% of boomers are actually gamers. That's incredible, a large market reach. And they are really dialed in. They have disposable income, and they are really dialed into this market, which is, to Danny's point, making it a mass market for sponsorships, for revenue.
Think of the gaming industry right now as the largest entertainment sector. It's larger than movies and music combined. And you're seeing a huge market of students. The next generation are leveraging video games as their choice of sport. That's one of the coolest things to be able to see. Yeah.
My son wanted to go into gaming, and we had a difficult time finding a university that had a gaming major. And I want to know the types of schools or universities that people go to. Does it just run the gamut, or are there special universities to do game development? How do they get into this space if they want to do what you're doing or want to even make the games themselves? I know people have talked about making the games and then you want to market it with somebody like EA Sports or something like that. But just give us a little bit of information on that.
Absolutely. When we were trying to, as we work as a company, we work with high school students, middle school students, and they're always looking for what can they do next in college. So they're in that same realm. For us, since they come to us because we're offering these programs in public schools, we have to go and search the actual universities and colleges that are offering it. 3 years ago, there was approximately around about 25 colleges that offered esports competitive programs. There's a lot of schools now that offer game development, but from an esports perspective, there's about 25. Today, there's about 900 universities. So in 3 years, 900 universities have now developed esports programs. The reason why this coincides with the gaming portion is that while gaming at a competitive level, you're developing skills that are very critical to the future of work. And that's the positions that are available when we do put on these large tournaments or facilitate these marketing campaigns around the content creators that are gaming in esports. And so that's kind of looking at it from that perspective. And when you think of someone playing Fortnite at a high level, they're good because they build foundations to protect themselves. They can build structures to jump from one end to the map to the other end. And when you think about an architectural engineering firm, those same skill sets of building foundations, being able to think at a nanosecond, being able to understand your next pathway of where you're going to go. And the institution understands the value that they can actually, create these programs where students are interested in coming to because they're already passionate about the game. And then the second element is the institution knows that there are organizations and companies that want that talent for their next talent pipeline.
Right.
So they're developing these programs in universities because they're now understanding it. Beforehand, like I stated 3 years ago, it was 25. So you weren't going to get in those because it was incredibly difficult.
Right.
Now there's many available, and 900 is not even that much compared to how many schools are out there. But it was way more than it was 3 years ago. So it's growing ever so fast. And I think one of the biggest things right now is these gaming programs. As you're building these esports programs, the scholarships that are being provided are not just going to individuals who are really good at the game. They're going to individuals who like the game, that may be okay at the game, but also the individuals who understand the different skill sets that are very viable, like editing, production skills, project management skills, game development skills. These skill sets coupled with being good at the game, it makes it easier to get a scholarship in these days. So that's one of the biggest advice that we give to our students. And we let them know to create a portfolio. This is the best time for you to be able to showcase your work. You know, you got to be able to show it. And content creation really allows you to be able to show what you've done. And the games that are being developed right now, they recognize as a business model that it's best to allow other people to user create content on their platforms. So for an example, again, like Fortnite is built on top of Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is actually a game engine that is making it more easier to build games on. So for a student learning Unreal Engine without even having to go to school, it's easy now because they made the engine easier. Fortnite comes and builds their game on Unreal Engine. Now Fortnite now offers the opportunity to create maps in the actual Fortnite. So now as a young kid, you can actually go create your own Fortnite map. And let's say it gets popular. If it gets popular, people can play on your map. Timmy can go home and be like, I got my friends playing on my map. Timmy now can get paid for people being on his map. But Timmy had to learn how to work within Fortnite, which is built on top of Unreal Engine. And he's really learning those skill sets to do game development. So in this instance, colleges are recognizing that Timmy is coming to my university. He already has probably built 2 maps in Fortnite or Roblox or Minecraft, and he's already establishing their development skills. So you can start in middle school learning how to do game development, and it's because the technology is becoming easier now to develop on. They are recognizing that they're not going to try to go and see a bunch of game development companies out there. It's better for them as an engine or a game to let people build within their games. And it just makes it easier to enter into the space.
It's interesting to me that, I mean, this field has grown. When I considered technology and getting into technology, I didn't even think of gaming as an option. And to know that this business side of the gaming technology industry is just a lucrative and awesome avenue for anyone who wants to be in it.
And it's something that they're naturally doing themselves.
So,
you didn't have to. Did you have to force your kid to play the game?
No.
Hey, go play the game.
Right.
No. They're doing something that they naturally love to do. And so now all our job is to show them how they can take that natural love and give them the insight to turn it into revenue. Ultimately, right now, there's a lot of companies that actively need the skill sets that they're developing, and that's how it turns into revenue for the actual students.
Awesome. All right. I want to ask a question about Metaverse. Metaverse, I'm just in awe of this entire concept because an entire company, Fortune 500 company, renamed itself to Meta, which is the first 4 letters of the word Metaverse. And they're a huge, widely massive company and hugely successful. That, to me, started me down this track of like, all right, there's something with this Metaverse thing. What is the Metaverse and why is it important? Let's ask Danny.
Yeah, for sure. Well, for us, it's like, as a gamer, when you heard the buzz Metaverse, it was like, we've been doing this for years now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you pick up your controller, you log into a game, you create an avatar, and then you're walking around. Let's just say specifically NBA 2K. Like, literally, you can create an avatar, and you walk in this Metaverse world. You're walking to go get Gatorade because you need power-ups for when you play on the digital court. You're going to get some shoes. Foot Locker integration is in the game. So now you use your avatar to walk in Foot Locker, and you get a chance to get all the selections of shoes and new exclusive shoes. You put your shoes on, you then walk to the court in the game, and then you wait until a game is available. You're seeing them playing, and you get your team, you get your friends, and now once the game is available, you are digitally playing on the court. Once you get off the court, you're tired, so now you got to go back to Gatorade. You go and actually go to the weight room, and you go to the weight room, lift some weights so you can get your avatar built up. So when you go on the digital court, you're like ready. You're more powerful now when you're going on that digital court. And so you just ultimately think about it from a metaverse perspective. Like you're living in a digital world, doing everything that you would do in a physical world. And that is the metaverse to us. It's literally, when you think of a company like Meta or any other, they're basically looking at being able to bring their physical bodies into a digital world and being able to capitalize off the digital assets that are available. And that's no different than every game that you're seeing. Even Fortnite is considered a metaverse, because you can now go in Fortnite and purchase items. You can get new cars, new skins, new costumes. When people are when kids are asking for Robux or Fortnite dollars, they're literally asking for physical money to go in the digital world so they can use that digital world within the metaverse of that game. And so literally that is the dynamicness of a metaverse. It's where we tend to, as gamers, we immerse ourselves in a whole different world. A lot of times gamers do that to relieve, stress, to escape. They may be experiencing things in the real world that is very hard, challenging. They can experience family issues. They can experience being bullied. They can experience, and they go into this metaverse, and it's them. They're the kings and queens of that actual space, and it makes them feel good. And a lot of the gaming community, there's a lot of those stories. And when you think about the gaming community, it's so close knit because they share some of the same reasons on why they game in the first place. And then some individuals say, hey, it's just something I can just relax and have fun. And some individuals like, I want to be the Tiger Woods of gaming, And so it's just them making that decision to say, I really want to take this serious. And sometimes it can be very beneficial from a capital perspective for some of the best gamers. You're talking about gamers that have made millions. We've had over 9 gamers turn pro out of our organization. Over goodness. 2 of them I know for a fact have amassed over $2 million just playing games.
Oh my gosh, that's really amazing. When you were talking about the metaverse, I was thinking, all right, do I need a VR? How am I connecting to this metaverse? It's not only just your virtual reality set, but can you also play it just like on a PC, or how does it?
Yeah, right? Metaverse is like, those are just attachments with peripherals, right?
Yes.
Like the metaverse is within the engine. If you really want to take a look at a metaverse, you need to study Unity or Unreal Engine. That's basically like the comparison of Facebook and how would I say it? It's basically the comparison of Microsoft and Apple. Like Unity is the Microsoft and Unreal Engine is the Apple. And those two properties is where all the metaverses have to build on top of. And so at that point, they are controlling the metaverses. For an example, that's why you have companies like NVIDIA that is booming right now, is because the graphics that is needed for these metaverses that are on top of Unity and Unreal Engine makes that company valued at the value that it is, because every PC now needs a really dynamic graphics card. And a graphics card now is even more expensive than the processor on PCs. When it used to be the processor was like the everything, you had to spend the most money. Now it's this big machine that you tap onto a motherboard that is now the most expensive. And that graphics card is making NVIDIA the largest organization on the planet Earth, is because they're building a tool to make the metaverse possible.
Now, how do you see the integration between artificial intelligence and gaming coming together for the metaverse, or however the gaming world connects to AI? Is it just because you talked about NVIDIA and the visuals and all that we see with the gaming, how does AI play into that? Does it make it easier to develop games, or what role does artificial intelligence play in the gaming world?
So At eSposure, and I didn't really go into depth in regards to what we do, but there's on esports, there's the competitive side, and then there's the education side. So eSposure is on the educational side. We focus on providing experiential opportunities for students to develop their skills outside of just playing the game, which is critical. Our mantra is to get you here and build your skills so you can go work for a company in any industry. And so for us, the way we use AI is on the educational side. So currently, we are building the first esports dedicated school in the country. It will be launched in Austin on looks like around about August 22nd. It was supposed to be on August 2nd, but we've been having a little bit of delays. And so in this instance, what we've done is we have a dedicated private school where students pay tuition. At this point, students come into the building from 8 to 3:30. For the first 2 hours, the students leverage AI technology to get through all of their cores. So they spend 30 minutes on math, 30 minutes on reading, 30 minutes on science, and 30 minutes on social studies with 5-minute breaks in between. And so at this instance, AI actively learns the way they learn by giving them a curriculum, and it pushes the bounds on how fast they can learn, and it monitors their pace of learning, and it ultimately gives them an output of saying, hey, here's where you're at as far as your learning abilities, and we bring in guides to be able to support them on that journey. So after those 2 hours a day, they go into the next 4 to 5 hours of project-based things. So instead of traditional school where you're in there from 8 to 5, you're just doing curriculum and you're doing standards,
math, science,
you're doing it all day. We use AI technology to expedite the time. And so now the students are only doing it for 2 hours a day. And now the 4 hours and 5 hours, they're literally doing things that they can put on their portfolio. They're building games in Unity and Unreal.
Awesome.
They're doing projects that allows them to run their own tournaments. They're doing things that ultimately is very important for them to get a job. So now they are literally not just getting out of school where it's like, now I got to go find an internship. They literally are getting their internships every day while they're in school.
Yeah,
so by
absolutely.
that time, they can even choose to go to college, or they can choose to go straight into the workforce. We leverage AI technology to really take what traditional education looks like right now and expediting the time. We use educators in a different way. So now those educators, and instead of focusing on teaching the curriculum, they're now actually working with the students on their projects and the projects that they have to get done at the end of the school year. That's what determines their grade. And at that point, that's very critical. So AI has made it, easier for organizations to be able to deliver curriculum in a more expedited way and measure the results from there and actually get better. Like, it's almost like the way we treat education in AI is it's like a game itself. Like when you play a game, you get to level 1. Level 1 is easy. You go to level 2, it gets progressively harder. And then level 3. If you can't beat level 3, you stay on level 3 until you can beat it. We treat AI and education and esports that way. If you can't get through a specific subject in math within those 2 hours, you literally stay there, and we now say, all right, now the AI says, all right, let's figure out different ways to be able to get you to understand how to get over to this next level, right? Awesome. And AI can be able to monitor that. Yeah. And so when you get to the next level, now your level is harder, right? So that's how we use AI in our fashion.
See, dropping many gems. Many gems. All right. Well, before we end, what do you foresee as the future of gaming, esports? There's been a ton of conversation about the whole gaming business, sponsorships for the large competitions for esports games. What do you project in terms of gaming, and what comments do you have about the gaming industry altogether?
It's almost like individuals, several years back, people were like, if you don't learn a software programming language, then you're essentially doomed. It's the same sense right now. Learning a software programming language, at this point, you don't need to, because builders, they've leveraged AI technology. So in this instance, the gaming industry is going in that same route, like I spoke. Unity, Unreal Engine, they're building their engines to make it easier for you to build games on. At this point, you should be building games because it's easier to do it. At one point, it was true that you should learn a programming language because it was very needed. Game development is in that same, it's like, you should be building a game right now because it's easier than ever. But eventually AI is going to be building a game. So it's the reality now is, as a student, think about leveraging those tools, but also focus in on your creativity. Your creativity is going to be the thing that outlives any AI.
Right.
So like ultimately you as a creative is your value, and you show your value through content creation. And at that point, your value becomes how many of us humans are seeing the value in us. And at that point, being able to show that in content lets you have the best opportunities at any industry. So it's literally learning how to add value to the games that are out there via their engines, and then two, understanding the importance of content creating to showcase your value.
Yeah. I just want to thank Danny for being here on the podcast. I have learned about the gaming industry. I am thinking about just how important a thought leader he is for generations that are coming up right now to be inspired, because gaming is definitely an avenue for you to be able to use your ingenuity and profit from it. And
thank you for joining us. And thank you to Danny Martin for giving us insight into the gaming world. I felt privileged to be a part of it and to experience that with him. Now I just want to give you a little bit of insight into episode 5. But before I do that, I have to shout out my brother. He gave me a little bit of insight into gaming as well, and him for that, and for all the people at Dallas Startup Week who invited me into their gaming community as well. So before I go, I want to give you a quick insight into episode 5. With Curry Girl Tech Talk, we want to offer you a wide variety of perspective, and that includes talking about some of the challenges that the technology is facing. Artificial intelligence is not without its challenges, and we're going to talk about the governing aspects of artificial intelligence. President Biden's executive order and also OpenAI's letter is summarizing the economic impacts of artificial intelligence. I hope you will join me as I take on that challenge. I'm Krystal Curry. Take care.